you can understand why he'd be very, very angry as a coach, Rocket, and he'd be giving some of his players a bit of a spray. Chris Grant, Jade Rawlings.
He was straight out to Jordan McMahon after that kick late in the quarter that we spoke about before the break.
Look, a couple of things Jordan McMahon's done. He's made some very lazy parts on football, never attacked it in the second quarter. Bit gun shy in that area, and in this area here, very lazy football by kicking the football off one step.
Yes, it was the inside 50s we saw blew out in that quarter. It was 50-29, the match stats, inside 50. In that quarter, it was 20-10 inside 50s. Despite possessions being about the same, the game was played almost exclusively in West Coast half of the ground. And a telling stat, inside 50s, as I mentioned, for the game, 50-29, but possessions inside 50 for the match, which is how many times your forwards get it once it goes inside, 58-18 in favour of the Eagles. Their men are able to get possession of the football. They're able to use it up forward. The Bulldogs, it's bouncing in and out far too easily as we head down to Lockie Reid.
Thanks, Jace. Still a little bit shaky because Rodney Eade walked straight past me when he was yelling and screaming at his players. I thought he was actually having a crack at me, but a fantastic spray from Rodney Eade, and that will fire up the Bulldogs in this final term. Mitch Hahn, incidentally, has worked very hard during the third quarter to get himself right, and it looks like he is back out on the ground. And it'll be interesting to see Ben Cousins. He spent the whole of three-quarter time on his hands and knees. He is really sucking, and let's hope he can finish off the game.
Good call on Mitch Hahn from Lockie Reid. Spent the third term getting re-strapped, getting a lot of work from the physio on the shoulder. And they're going to roll the dice and give him a try, starting him up forward in the last term.
West Coast have been starting their forward line majority of the game right down the spine. That's something that Tony McCarl used to do at East Fremantle.
Minson in the ruck against Cox. Beautiful tap down to Cousins. Inside 50. Rawlings back with the flight, caught underneath it off the chest of Lynch. It's still there for him. Swings onto the right boot, taken down in the tackle. Affected the kick. Courage from Atkins, courage from Murphy. And the Bulldog got the mark. He's got Gene Syracuse forward of the ball. It's got to be full on attack now from the Bulldogs. They've got to come from 5 goals down at three-quarter time. But they have been excellent finishers so far this season. They've booted 15 goals to 8 in final terms this year. So they have been able to run games out. Mind you, the Eagles have been very, very good late in games as well. That's the challenge for the Dogs. Johnson, good kick to Grant, who's looked better since going forward in the third term. We wondered why it didn't happen earlier in that third quarter. In the end, Rodney Eade made the move and it worked. He's kicked 2 and involved here again. Long kick to the top of the square. Fist over the top. Good, strong, vigorous play there from Jamie Graham. And we'll have a throw in. Dangerous area for the Bulldogs.
Read that very well, Jamie Graham. He let Darcy go. He was in the mix in the pack, just went off, gave himself enough room to spring and punch it out of
See
bounds.
Luke Darcy there waving the arms, telling his Rovers to get away, create some space. But unfortunately for the Eagles, it was Chris Judd that benefited from it.
He got a good block from Chick as well. He's had 3 bounces inside his defensive 50. Adkins, good spoiled power. Gilby taken high. 28 points to mark. Gee, that was a good mark by Robert Murphy, wasn't it? Here he is now with the footy. He looks up and ends up looking out the left eye and goes to big Will Minson. Hunting a goal, outside 50. Under pressure, Darcy. Mark, paid the mark. Yes, it has. Jones not happy with the call, but there's no doubt Darcy had good purchase on the footy, and a goal here off the boot of Luke Darcy, down to 22 points.
Big Minson did it very well. Rebound football once again. He was out wide. They do it every time, Western Bulldogs.
It's a good switch, wasn't it?
Yeah, they switch it all the time. Always look to your side. They've always got a player on.
Great start to the last term. The Dogs are still in it.
Western Bulldogs always look a lot better when they start with a tall up forward. This time they've got Darcy and Grant, 2 talls going down, and now Western Bulldogs kicking longer footballs and a lot more direct play.
It's all about belief and stamina for the Bulldogs. Dogs hang in. 22 points the margin. Cox and Minson. Judd got hands on the ball. Cooney to pinch it away. Create some space himself. Hahn versus Embley. Embley got hands on the ball. Got a couple of metres on Mitch Hahn now. Boundary line's his friend. He takes it there. Great crowd in, more than 39,000, which smashes the previous home and away record between these two sides by almost 7,000. A pretty entertaining game. The Eagles have had the upper hand for most of it, but the Doggies have not gone away at any stage. West inside 50, where Punter leads his man to the ball. Got an awkward bounce. Griffin went to ground. Fortunately for him, Weir-Punter did too, but he took him there. Umpire said free kick, David Weir-Punter. Squares it to the defensive goal square. Glass. And now Stenglein in the opposite pocket. Braun works hard towards the line. Good kick. Good work from Michael Braun. Provided an option when Stenglein needed it. Now goes down the line. Fletcher did similar for Braun. Worked really hard, gave him something to kick to, and they keep it alive. Cox's handball went behind the man. Here's the chance the Dogs needed. Jiren Siracusa to Gilby, and now Darcy could be the man. 45 out directly in front. And this to reduce the margin to 16 points. At no stage this afternoon have we felt the Dogs are out of this game, despite the scoreboard. The nature of the game, the Dogs have been able, when they get their tails up, to kick consecutive goals. It's all about belief from here on in for them. Belief and run in the legs. Darcy can take care of the former here to reduce the margin to 16 points. It's booted 1-1 this afternoon. The skipper, the proverbial cliched captain's goal. Not this time.
The Warsfolds now seeing that the two tall forwards are hurting them. He's brought Jamie Graham on and put him forward, so watch out for Rocketetti. He might have to make that change just to cover the extra tall.
The Eagles do have to get it in their forward line, which they haven't been able to do in this last quarter. Inside 50s for the turn, 5-1. That's a poor kick by Selwood. Henry might get lucky, didn't get a push in the end. From Hahn, Judd down the line. Jones goes by hand to Braun. What's on offer? Cousins working hard. Braun on the boundary line. Good chase from Johnson. Inside 50, Lynch got caught behind, forced to spoil. Power and Sampi. Sampi does well, rips the ball out, gives it to Cousins. The skipper, tell you what, the skipper's having a fair day too. Needs a shot, but gets it from Lynch. Ben Cousins has got 3. The amount of work Ben Cousins did to, one, get in that contest when Braun had the ball on centre wing, and to be on the end of it a couple of possessions later, just outstanding.
Ashton Sampi has done it time and time again in 2005, is the hard work as a forward. That's what you need, and Quinton Lynch, just the little things. Big man, just giving that little bit of the 1% that you need to win a game of footy.
Tale of two skippers there. Luke Darcy kicking for goal to reduce it to 16 points. He misses. Cousins takes his chance at the other end, and suddenly it's 27 points. Really hurts the Bulldogs. Stenglein wrapped up. West trying to free the arms and get at that football. Dogs in there working hard again. Power, Cox, Chick paddled it to the advantage of Judd. Cooney waiting on him. Beautiful vision inboard to Chick. Arches the back, draws a man. Hansen misses. First score of the afternoon for Ashley Hansen. Margin 28 points. Murphy, uncertain of the option. It's been a problem to kick in at times for them this afternoon. He goes short to McMahon. He's hard to be pounding in the chest after his effort late in the third term and the spray he copped from Rodney Eade. Expect him to go long here. Up the middle, good kick. Finds Hargrave. It was a good lead too. Now the hard work around the wing. Johnson. Spears to Darcy. One-on-one with Hunter. Not much room to work in for the big man. Weir-Punter comes in to tidy up. He's made a career out of it. Jones. Around Griffin. Weir-Punter with a shepherd. Buys Jones some time and space. The kick was ordinary. Somewhat McMahon-esque. We'll have a throw in inside the 50 still for the Bulldogs. The opportunity's still alive. Will Minson marshals to Luke Darcy for the changeover. He said he'll go into the ruck. contest this one, and Darcy can push back a kick behind the play.
Yes, the road has been a problem for the Bulldogs. Still in this contest. Judd spoons it out to Cox to Stengline. Cousins working tight to the boundary line. Rowan Smith comes off. Gilby 25 possessions. Johnson 24. Judd 31, Braun 28 and Cousins 26 for West Coast. Margin 28 points. Here is Johnson. Wapunda having a day out. Ranking the best three on the ground. It's hardly put a foot wrong. They're away again. Braun likewise. Having a great afternoon. Inside 50. Graham's the target. Hanson. Hand pass too much on it, but they've got numbers. Here's Phil. Give it to me. I'm the hot man, says Philip Matera. Bending it back, Philip Matera. Too much. Philip Matera and David Wapunda, for mine, the only two players for the Eagles who have played every minute of the game so far. So the message is loud and clear from John Worsfold. Just leave you out there. The more time you get, more field time, Phil Matera, the better you'll become, and it seems to be working.
In contrast, 8 Western Bulldogs have been out there for every minute of the game. Murphy to West. Quiet since half-time. Just his 8th touch since the main break. Had 15 in the opening half. Eagleton thinks about going to Johnson, then goes further afield. McMahon at centre-half back can get it and go. Spears it up the middle towards Bowden. Dropped it. Did the hard work. Beat his man to the ball and then put it down. Cox over the top of Faulkner to Cousins. Down the line to Fletcher. We'll look up and see Matera leading hard at him. Eagleton went to ground. Fletcher gains 20 metres. Kicks towards the square. They got some tall timber. Graham, couldn't grab it the second time around. And now Hargrave to Power. Around the outer side to Rawlings. Brings it up the middle. Darcy has again got Bowden leading towards him. Darcy will go longer. Hahn, one-on-one with Embley. Embley instigates some body contact. Umpire said illegally. Hahn has it 60 metres from goal. One-on-one at the top of the square. Grant, he's got to the right side of the contest. Couldn't quite get to the fall of the ball. He and Glass wrestle and goes to the line. 29 points the margin. We've played 11 minutes final term.
There's been some great battles going on during the course of the game. Johnson and Chick has been outstanding. And you can just see that Daniel Chick really is starting to struggle to keep up with him at the present time.
Looked to be labouring in the third term and came off for a spell then. Cox and Bowden, they need to manufacture something. They need a spark. Cooney lays some heavy body. Judd. Griffin did enough. Cox to Wapunda. Awkward one for Braun, did well. Quick hands to Embley. He's got a man running inside at Selwood if he can get his hands free. Braun does, and he goes over the top to Selwood. Chance now for the Eagles around centre wing.
Has a bounce. Looks up. Philip Matera again hard on the lead. That's the direction. Good spoil, McMahon. Rawlings. Hargrave under enormous pressure. Numbers favour West Coast. Great tackle West on Sampi. Again through the legs of Lynch. The Dogs, can they work their way out of it? Oh, McMahon probably should have gone for the kick. He fumbled the hand pass. Ball spills. Phil Matera. There's the snap on goal. Bending back.
Phil gets his third. 3-3 for the afternoon. We mentioned he's got a great record against the Western Bulldogs. 21 goals in 5 games coming to this one. We speculated before the game wasn't playing off back in his form like he appears to. Certainly confidence-wise, he's up and about.
His opposition number really is making it easy for him. Jordan McMahon gave the handball off, sat back, watched it, didn't follow up. Should have let his little man kick the goal.
Tough from here now for the Bulldogs in front of 39,124. Record between these two sides for a home and away fixture. West Coast have this one by the throat. Darcy, good tap to Cooney. That was beautiful ruck work and great acceleration from the youngster to go himself. From 65, attacks the square. Grant and Glass. The West Coast defender got fist to ball and it finds the line. Great ruck work. Glass gets up. A little sore. A little dazed. Great work from Darcy to Cooney, and then great confidence from the youngster to just back himself and explode away.
Got some great pace across the ground too. Michael Braun's no slouch. Left him in his wake.
Darcy, Johnson up over the top. Here's Darcy, here's Eagleton, surely over the top to Grant, and goal. May have been a set play, it was certainly a good one. 3 goals to Chris Grant. Consciously, I'm sure, Peter Wilson, they left some space at the front of this contest. Just caught the tail end of it there on the replay. They left space at the front. No men directly in the front of the contest so that Darcy could palm to the front. As it turned out, Johnson, third man up, hit it to that exact space, and they created something.
Rocket E does it time and time again. He is a master of set plays. Darren Glass having a little bit of attention. Got one in the eye, I think, by big Chris Grant.
So Chris Grant, slow first half, but he's got 3 goals and too many in the centre square for that ruck contest. So that's a cheap free kick for the Eagles. Inside 50, Hargrave nudged his man Hansen out. Illegally, said the umpire. And Ashley Hansen hasn't kicked a goal, but he's still presented up. He's worked hard, Peter Wilson.
Been a costly mistake really there by Hargrave. He's been very good today. He's been certainly in the Bulldogs' best. It was just a lazy free kick.
So margin 29 points. We've gone 15 minutes, still plenty of time for this game to blow out or the Dogs to scrap and keep it respectable. From 50, Hansen. Big pack of hands right on the line. He's not happy with that. He probably didn't strike it as well as he would have liked. Ashley Hansen, a couple of behinds for him this afternoon. 33 scoring shots to 18. Chick and Fletcher are both off the ground. Jordan McMahon, a couple of dodgy disposals in recent minutes. Murphy, and they've worked it outside defensive 50.
West off half-back, goes to a one-on-one. Gene Syracusa couldn't quite reel it in with one hand. Braun did well at ground level to Banfield. Slick running from Selwood. Now Matera has got Cox in the pocket. Squares it up. Seaby. Bulldogs trying to get out of half-back and they get out of jail. Eagleton. Hahn. Power. Man forward to the ball is Johnson. Glass will come at him. Handball over the top to Glass's man. Grant thinks about it. Goes himself from 10 metres out and kicks. Goal number 4. Good scrap at half-back from the Bulldogs. Glass had no choice, had to go at Brad Johnson, and Grant's been able to get on the end of some good work up the ground this afternoon for 4 second-half goals.
They just made the best of it again, the Western Bulldogs, on turnover. Phil Matera's central kick into the corridor was an absolute shocker. Scrub it to the ground, and they've just punished the West Coast Eagles. Every mistake West Coast have made, the Western Bulldogs have actually kicked a goal out of this quarter.
Margin back to 24 points. Chris Grant, 4 goals. The next one will make it nice and interesting, if they can. But the Eagles, through CB, will go forward again. Cousins again works hard for front spot. Hansen, arm pinned. Sampi, too many good players around the footy for West Coast, and this man has been hard pressed not to be best on the ground. Good vision. Cousins ran off the contest. Michael Braun has been simply outstanding today, close to best on ground. And Ben Cousins will go back, and I would dare say he hasn't often kicked 4 goals in a game.
It's very unusual when you see your midfielders like Fletcher and Cousins, so far 3 each. It will be a fabulous return for Ben Cousins if he could slot this through.
Ben's best 5 goals in 1997.
Well, he's got 4 today. The responding goal at the boot of the skipper. So he has kicked 5 in a game.
Yes, back in 1997 against the Demons, round 5. 4 today's a great return, along with 28 possessions. You throw Judd in with 33 and Braun in with 33. 3 ball magnets this afternoon between them. 94 possessions and 6 goals.
Braun has been close for mine, best on ground.
And I totally agree, been fantastic. Ben Cousins, in comparison to last year, is returning to what we saw in 2003.
4 goals to Cousins, 3 to Fletcher, 2 to Judd. To come away with 9 goals from your midfielders. Outstanding return for John Worsfold and injected life into what so far until today has been a struggling attack. Faulkner goes to ground, harassed by Braun. Turnover comes. Seaby. Eagles may have smell of blood in the water now. Power switches play. Eagleton will wait and mark. Where Punda couldn't quite close up quickly enough. Here's Murphy. Short kick, put the pressure on Cross. Good handball to Faulkner. Switches to a man in space. Lindsay Gilby's done it all afternoon. Steadies up from 40 metres out. Goes for goal. And gets the first 4-goal haul of his career.
You're a freak. You're a freak, Jason. You were looking for that, I'm sure.
Glad he kicked it.
If you came to the game today expecting either Chris Grant or Gilby, if you said they've both kicked 4, you would expect that the Western Bulldogs would win a game of football.
Quite remarkable, isn't it? Lindsay Gilby spent most of his day in the back half of the ground. He's come away with 4 goals.
Talk about accuracy. Western Bulldogs have struggled with that. Now 15 goals, 5.
Bit of a last quarter shootout between these two teams. Cameron Faulkner's passed to, and there he is now. Faulkner, that's just his second disposal. His last one was a beauty. It set up the Gilby goal. His first touch it was in 41 minutes of play, so he's had not a great afternoon, but it was okay. Here's the Eagles again through Embley. Throws it on the boot to centre half forward. Darcy, forced to spoil. Braun, brilliant. Again on the end of it, Cousins, the skipper, inside, looked at Banfield, then double takes. Is this another 5-goal haul? Close to it. What a mark! What a great mark by Rawlings. Completely out of it. McMahon, another dinky kick to Hargrave, and they again get themselves back to the last line of defence. Margin 24 points.
Mentioned a shootout moments ago. That's exactly what Rodney Eade needed to manufacture in this last quarter. He needed to open up the game to give them any chance of winning. It may not come off, but it was their only chance.
Cross, good courage. Can take the mark. Faulkner and Sampi. The latter squeezes it out to Butler. Good tackle, Faulkner. But the ball comes out to Hanson. Will this be his first goal for the afternoon? Yes, it is.
Time and time again coming out of defence this afternoon. Sloppy disposal has cost both sides. On this occasion, it was the Bulldogs.
I sound like a broken record. Every time Ashley Sampi gets near the football, he just makes something happen. The way he just keeps fighting for the football has just been a remarkable turnaround. And this boy, he really has worked hard. 14 or 15 possessions in his first goal, but just has given a target all day.
Four goals apiece in the last term. Rodney Eade needed to open up this game. He's done that. Unfortunately, sloppy skills, it's been the story of the day for them, has cost them heavily. Given up too many shots at goal. Sloppy skill.
He started the midfield shootout, didn't he, in the third quarter, just allowing West, Johnson, Gilby, Power, all these guys just get a lot more football.
Had to happen when they found themselves 4 or 5 goals down. There's no other way. You've got to try to open up the game and create opportunities. Hargrave, run down by Stendline. Cooney got the hands free. It was clever. Eagleton up by a lingering tackle, spotted it behind the play. And a free kick coming back. It's going to Nathan Eagleton. It's actually a downfield free kick, about downfield 10 metres. Infringement wasn't against Eagleton, but because the ball was in a better position for the Bulldogs, they brought it forward ever so slightly.
Michael Braun looking very proppy.
Eagleton towards the wing. Embley stands and waits. Darcy arrives late. Did enough to put some pressure on. Embley's hands to Cox was good. Gian Syracusa. Inboard to Bowden. Over the top to Power. He's got Cross forward of the football and a man outside as well. Goes back to Sam Power. Straight up the middle. The kick went over the head of Smith's got to go back. Good mark. Great mark from Troy Selwood. The kick was just a little bit, Adam Selwood rather, the kick was just a little bit too big for Rowan Smith. And now 50. So Adam Selwood playing game number 8 this afternoon. As Braun comes off. Warm applause from the crowd down in front of the interchange bench. Hanson and Embley also off, as John Worsfold looks to spell a few hard workers. Chick launches it long inside 50. Cross has to stand underneath it for the Bulldogs. Not sure what he was doing there. Fletcher. Bowden has to go back and try to win it. Matera. Now Butler. Stands from 40 and hammers it through. They've done enough, the Eagles. And again, we see some unusual decision-making, some poor decision-making, maybe just a little bit of hesitation under pressure. On that occasion, it was Cross. He had 3 men around him, didn't realise it, was unaware. Just there.
Very hard to mark a football when you're looking at the ground, though.
Wasn't looking to mark it, was it? It was almost like he was expecting the pressure to come from behind. So rather than try to be outmarked, he was just going to slap it down. But really, his teammates, as you said, Willow, could have just said to him, mate, it's yours, there's no one near you.
Just very important that your teammates do talk to you and say you've got a couple of yards. Because honestly, he thought he was under the pump cross there. Football spills to the ground. Very ordinary effort.
A great result for the Eagles. Sam Butler, their 10th goal kicker for the afternoon. Here is Cousins, just doesn't stop trying. Chick, he's been sniffing out a goal this afternoon. He's given a few off. He's lingering, he's around the place. Good strong tackle by Darcy. Adkins steps around from 50, left foot. Brilliant goal! One step, he's got 2! Just to kick it 55, left foot off a couple of steps. Outstanding, and all of a sudden the margin is 42 points.
2 big goals. He has the ability really to rake the football a long distance, Atkins, and that is a fantastic goal. 55 metres out on your non-preferred foot. He's certainly done enough to say that his inclusion, after great form in the WAFL, has well and truly been rewarded.
Nine possessions and a couple of goals to Damien Adkins. The margin now to 42 points. It's got ugly in a hurry for the Bulldogs. Hung in for much of the day, but let themselves down at times when they appear to have half a chance of working their way back into the game. Here's Gene Syracuse. High ball to 50. Gilby and Banfield. Numbers there around the contest. Glass arrived late at ground level. Chick got a little bit more toe than West. Beat him to the ball. Kept it alive to Stenglein, who gains an extra metre or 2 as well. And a throw in outside the forward 50 for the Bulldogs. Braun with 34 touches, Judd 33, Cousins 30. While for the Doggies, West's had 27, Johnson and Gilby 26 apiece. Darcy and Cox. Darcy to the front. Cox with the hit out. West paddled it cleverly back to Darcy and then received it again. Tumbles it inside 50. Bowden in from the side. Butler stood tall, where Punda just glides across the turf and picks it up. Fletcher. Atkins through the middle. Spearing kick to the lead of Lynch. One-handed up in front. Play on's the call. Sampi arrives. Swoops on it. Powered it well. Ran him down. Gene Syracuse. Numbers here for the Dogs. Should make something of this. Gilby goes to Bowden. Had an ordinary day. Glassed it enough. Not quite. And Bowden takes it. 45 from home. Moves it quickly to Darcy. And Luke Darcy can go back and shoot for his second this afternoon. 19 possessions, 13 marks, 1 goal, 2 for Luke Darcy. He's worked hard all afternoon. He's been out there for every minute of the game. Leading from the front. A chance to drag one back for the Bulldogs. They really don't deserve to lose by 7 goals. The discrepancy in the game hasn't been that pronounced. Luke Darcy for a consolation. Beautiful kick. He's a great finisher for a big man. And he's kicked his second. Margin back to 36 points. Luke Darcy kicks his second. The Bulldogs with 16-5.
And a pretty good shootout, really, between Darcy and Cox. Both spending most of the time on the ball. I guess Darcy now with 20 possessions and 2 goals. It's a fair effort for a big man.
Covered some ground, hasn't he? He's dropped back, he's pushed forward.
Peacock's similar, 20 possessions, 1 goal, 1.
It's been a great matchup.
Yes, Lockie Reid doesn't have an umbrella, unfortunately for him. The rain has started to come, which you don't need with about 3 minutes to go, but the Eagles fans have seen enough. They're going home. They know they've got their 4 points. The Dogs go forward again. Faulkner tries to swat it on. Darcy just pushed out of it. Wapunda. He too been brilliant. That's not a great kick. Cooney across the fight in front of Stengline. The kick was from Selwood. It was pretty ordinary. And Adam Cooney will go back and go short. And while everyone was thinking he was going to have a shot for goal, Faulkner was alive and thinking about it. And he'll go back. It's his 3rd kick. So the Dogs, a chance to get their 17th. The Eagles, 37 scoring shots. Here's the kick from Faulkner. He's kicked the goal. Respectability on the scoreboard. His first, and margin again reduced to 5 goals.
Amazing stats of the midfield shootout. Michael Braun 34, Chris Judd 33, Ben Cousins 30. And on the flip side, West with 28, Gilby 27, Johnson 26. That is a shootout.
West Coast up to 365 possessions. That's going to be nearing their all-time record high. It's been a shootout possessions-wise. The Bulldogs have played that way all year. They're the #1 for and the #1 against disposals in the comp, which essentially translates to lots of free running and lots of balls spread around. They go again. Adkins to Butler inside 50. McMahon to tidy up at the back. Goes to Cross. Charging through centre half back is Power. Changed his mind very late on the kick, went to Cooney. Knew Banfield was coming, went back, good effort, Drew Banfield. Howard just changed his mind late, it affected the kick, he couldn't execute the way he wanted. Lynch towards Graham, happy to go to the line, we'll have a throw in as Harris lays some body on body.
Not bad from the old bloke and Drew Banfield. 3 players, Western Bulldogs surrounded that. Banfield just showing more commitment towards the football.
These two sides have shared the ball around to an extraordinary level this afternoon. Here's Judd, speaking of extraordinary, just dragged down by Johnson, affected the kick. Inside 50, play on the call. Graham shows some ability, goes around 1 man and 2. Handball now, they're lining up to kick the goal. Here's Judd back where it started. Can't quite get through, good tackle. Still there, Cousins, persistence, will it be rewarded? High ball for Embley, not quite. Still there, would you believe? Goal. They prolonged the inevitable as long as they could, the Bulldogs. But in the end, it was Jamie Graham. Weight of numbers, ferocity at the football, and the ability to keep it alive despite defensive pressure. We've seen it a number of times from both sides this afternoon. The Eagles did it well here.
This is where we're seeing the majority of the goal from both sides. Hasn't been a traditional style of football match of the big forwards leading out, taking mark, kicking goals. It's just all been about scrapping.
Chris Judd, 35 disposals. Ben Cousins, 31. And Jamie Graham off the rookie list. And another game. And a goal to his name. So 3 goals in his career. Fletcher took on the tackler. Adkins likewise. Here's Chick, closing seconds of the game, inside the final minute. Lynch on the lead. Hargrave under pressure. The ball ricochets out now, the Dogs, through Minson. Seaby. They've gone into the dugout. That was heavy. Both West and also Seaby, and West is yet to surface. Here's Judd. McMahon will get a free kick. So the Dogs run it up the centre wing. It's a long quarter, plenty of goals kicked. 7 off the boot of the Eagles. It's all over. 6 off the boot of the Dogs. And the West Coast win. They've now made it 4 straight in 2005.
It was a hard-fought win. The Doggies hung in for as long as they could. They battled bravely, let themselves down with some poor decisions and poor disposals at crucial times. But career best or career high games from Chris Judd with 36 possessions, beats his previous best of 34 last year. And Michael Braun also career best, 34 possessions, beats his previous best against the Hawks way back in season 2000. Throw in 31 from Cousins, 24 from Embley, 24 from Fletcher, and 9 goals between that midfield group, Peter Wilson. Very, very hard to stop when you allow them that amount of space, that amount of possession, and the ability to kick that many goals. It's extraordinary.
It looked a very brave move by Rodney Eade, trying to take a shootout against probably the best midfield getting around in the AFL at the present time. And of course, what we've seen is just a very, very high possession game of football.
Let's head boundary side. Here's Lockie Reid with the skipper, Ben Cousins.
Well, Cuz, an absolutely terrific hard-fought victory from the boys.
Tough game, a lot of hard running, and Western Bulldogs tested us today and just wrapped to come away with a win. Exhausted.
What about yourself, mate? At three-quarter time, you looked stuffed. You couldn't stand up. During the game, you actually looked stuffed, but you kicked 4 goals. Terrific effort.
Yeah, it just felt like I was labouring a bit today. You have days like that, and I was just happy to push through it and get on the end of a couple of goals.
You don't seem to have any problems with that finger. Give us the finger here and I'll dislocate it again. You're going so well.
No, the finger's pulled up good and going to get better each week. I'm fine.
What does it do for the club? You're 4-zip right now and you're going beautifully. You've got to go to Brisbane next week.
Yeah, it's a good start, but you've only got to lose a couple in a row and you undo all your good work. And we play Brisbane and Sydney in the next 2 weeks, and they're both quality sides, so we've got some big challenges.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Ben Cousins finishing with 4 goals to go alongside his 31 possessions. The Eagles led at every change and extended their lead at every break as well. They led by 15 points at the first change, 19 at half-time, 28 at three-quarter time, and finally the margin was 36 points, 21-17, 143. The Bulldogs 17-5, 107 in front of a record crowd for these two sides in a home and away game of 39,124. Disappointment for the Doggies, Peter Wilson, but there were some positives to come out of the game. As Ben Cousins said, they did work very, very hard today, the Bulldogs, and tested them.
I think a very brave performance by the Western Bulldogs. They are one of the, you wouldn't say they're the worst side getting around or the better, but they just keep working and don't go away. They finish very, very strongly, and their midfield just works overtime. No different than the West Coast, just didn't kick the goals. 9
goals from your midfield is a great return in anyone's language. And you throw in 3 from Matera, a couple from Damien Adkins, a couple of guys they really would have loved to get into a bit of form and a bit of confidence. It's been a good result all around for the West Coast Eagles. Also throwing a couple of goals from Sampi as well.
Yeah, and Phil Matera getting back to a little bit of touch. And they would have been very happy about that. For the Western Bulldogs, has to say there's a couple of players that were very ordinary, might have let their team down today. I guess an injury to Mitch Hahn didn't help, getting a shoulder injury, but Patrick Bowden I thought was a little ordinary. Jade Rawlings ordinary today. So there's plenty of room for improvement for the Western Bulldogs, but as I said, it's still a very brave effort here at Subiaco Oval.
Great moment for that youngster.
How good was he today? How good was Michael Braun today? I mean, he's played some great footy for this footy club, but for mine, almost his best. He's just so clean every time. And you've got to like the way he just keeps on chasing down the side. Every time you want a player to be chased down, it's always Michael Braun doing those numbers, and he's chasing those for other midfielders' players, and that's just a great team game that he plays.
34 possessions for Braun, a career high after games, 141st game he's played for the Eagles. 18 kicks, 16 handballs, extraordinary 14 inside 50s, which would also be a career high for Michael Braun. So effective this afternoon. He was winning football, but he was also pumping it time and time again inside the 50s. Great result for the Eagles. Ran themselves into some very, very good form. They're now 4-0. High on confidence, because it wasn't a game that was, the Bulldogs didn't roll over at any stage and just give it to them. The Eagles had to fight hard to get it. They spread their goal-kicking options around. They had goals from their midfielders. They worked very, very hard all afternoon. And in the end, got the result, a 6-goal win.
Well, look, at some good performances for West Coast in the back half. Although Brett Jones, he's showing plenty, just getting better game by game. David Widdapunda, he just was magical the way he picks the football up and delivers. Only a couple of small turnovers that probably put the flaws in his game today, but outstanding performance once again.
Game of extraordinarily high possession, 380 in the end for the West Coast as they threw the ball around. We know that's how the Bulldogs like to play. It's got to go very, very close to the most possessions ever in the history of a game by a West Coast Eagles team, 380. It's a huge number. As they celebrate on the ground. Exhausted. It's a very, very taxing game of football. We mentioned they throw the ball around. They run very, very hard. But in the end, they'll go home. They'll sleep well tonight. Very, very satisfied. Had a great start to the season. They are 4-0 after 4 weeks of football in season 2005. And in front of 39,124. Great crowd at Subiaco. They saw the Eagles jump out to a 15-point lead at quarter time. They led by 19 at the half. 28 at three-quarter time before a shootout in the last term. 7 goals to 6. Saw the Eagles run out 36-point winners. 21-17, 143. The Bulldogs 17-5, 107. The Eagles to 4-0, led by the likes of Cousins with 4 goals, Fletcher with 3, Matera with 3. Great win for the Eagles at Subiaco Oval. They come into the rooms very, very happy to sing the song, very content.
They don't rush the West Coast Eagles. They've just spent 6 minutes on the ground, walking around.
Well, look, it helps. It helps just getting marketing time.
Eagles by 6 goals at Subiaco.
Come on, Glassy. Glassy, this is a winning team, mate.